welcome back. We are going to show how to collect cards for your supply pile, for example. In order to do that, we are going to be adding up the cards from the cities. So I'm just going to make this so it's a little bit easier to read here. So in this case, we have a couple of cities down here on the table here. So if it is a Lamanite side and it's a Lamanite's turn, so what you're going to do is you're going to also make sure that the cards for the Lamanites, all of them have a war number here. Those are going to be at the top facing you. The number's supposed to be at the top facing you. So all of these tell you what your card does on your side, and it tells you what the Nephites do on the other side. Okay, you're also going to be, these are the numbers right here. The numbers are at the bottom strip right here for each card, and it tells you what the point value is for each card. So you can see that, you know, Manti, Nephi, Zerahemla, Moroni, they all have different point values. You count up 2, that'd be 3, that'd be 5, 6, 7, and then you add one more for your presence, that would be 8. So you take from your reserve deck, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you put that down here into a supply pile. And then from here, I have 2 cards in my hand. None of these are character cards, but they do have deploy values. If I wanted to add weapons, or if I wanted to add some armor, I could do so. But in order to do so, I got to use my supplies. Okay, so I'd have to use 2 cards to deploy a shield and 3 cards to deploy a weapon, which is the war club. And they do have obviously good benefits for doing so. So I added, again, I counted up 2, 5, 6, 7, and then I add one more for my presence. That would be 8. Those go down here. If I wish to deploy these cards down, I may do so. Again, they do benefit me. This gives me a defense of 4. Okay. It also negates any weapon attack by 2 points. So that's a good thing to have. So I can put that, and I can only put 1 armor on 1 character. So I can do 1 here, for example, and 1 here, but I cannot put 2 pieces of armor on 1 character. So in this case, I would probably put it on King Amulon, and that it's going to cost me 2 cards to do. And I'm going to put that into my use pile 1 and 2. Okay. I could also put down a war club. Okay. And if I do so, then I have nothing in my hands. Okay. And that's fine too. So I could put down this war club, and I'm going to put it down on Lemuel. Which is good, because as long as he's attacking somebody that is not a king and not a captain, he gets a added bonus of +2 to a weapon attack. So I'm going to put that down on him, and that gives him a strength of 5. So that is going to take 1, 2, 3 cards to do that. Okay. Now I can now at this point I could initiate a war, which we could very well do. Okay, and then once we initiate the war, after we're done with the war, since I don't have any more cards on my hand, I definitely want to get as many cards into my hands as possible. I can either take the whole deck or part of the deck into my hand. That is called the regrouping phase. That is the last phase. So after you attack, you may move. If you still have cards in the supply pile, it takes 1 card to move each character. So if you wanted to move all 2 characters, it would take 2 cards to do that. After you attacked, you could move over 1, for example. So that's completely up to you if that's what you'd like to do. If you do not wish to move, then again, you may regroup. You may take the whole deck into your hand, or you may take part of the deck into your hand. Completely up to you. But since I have no more characters, I definitely want to get some more cards in my hand. And if he attacks me and I'd like to lose some cards, I'd like to kind of know what I'm losing. So it is kind of nice to have that. So that is one way of getting cards back into your hand, because that's a lot of people that did ask, oh, okay, well, how do I get cards back in my hand? Well, you do that through your supply pile, okay? Whatever you don't use, you can use and put back into your hand deck, okay? So you got your used deck, you got your hand, and you got your reserve deck and lost deck. And that's kind of how that goes at the end of the turn. You go ahead and put that back into your reserve deck. So that is how you get cards back into your hands. Okay,